man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, franzblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. 595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media.
Big government or bust here on this hump day, Wednesday, February the 3rd, in the year of our Lord 2016. Yes, indeed. It is a rather rainy Wednesday morning here in February. This has been a very mild winter so far, and if you hear some humming in the background, I do apologize. I have no idea. All of a sudden, my microphone has become super sensitive, and it is picking up noises. And unfortunately, I can't mask the noises because they are of all three computer machines. And I noticed that this morning as I was preparing for the program and trying to figure out what the heck is that humming in my ear, because I can monitor the sounds that are coming through the microphone through my headphones, and I've never heard that before. So I'm just wondering how my microphone got super sensitive overnight. But evidently it did. So if you start to hear background noises or something, please ignore those, because it's my microphone getting super. I don't know. Maybe it's like, yeah, if this kind of stuff keeps up, I'm going to become one of those conspiracy theorists, if you will. I don't like to think that way, but you can't help it sometimes because of what the strange things that happen. The strange goings-on that happen. Tomorrow, folks, is February the 4th. Now, for most of you, that doesn't really mean much, but February the 4th really is an important day here in New Hampshire because it is the Hillsborough County Republican Party's gala. And we have some heavy hitters that'll be there. Not that I'm a heavy hitter, but I'll be there to MC. All the festivities start at 5 p.m. down in Nashua, New Hampshire. And I tell people where I'm going. Sometimes I'm not going anywhere overnight, so I'll be there tomorrow. Festivities start at 5 p.m. at the Crown Plaza, and for those of you who know that area, it is off of Exit 8 in Nashua, as they say in New England. And some heavy hitters will be there, including Senator Kelly Ayotte, Congressman Frank Ginta. Expected to be there are some delegates and important people from the various political camps, including Carly Fiorina is expected to be there in person. Dr. Benjamin Carson's wife, Candy, is expected to be there. There are some other dignitaries, if you will, that will be expected to be there. So it should be a good time. And again, that's for the Hillsborough County Republican Party Club Group, what have you. And tomorrow, Thursday, already through, this is halfway through the week. Hump Day. Unbelievable, is it not? If you just one of those things that happens when you're having fun. It's a lot of things go by fast. Things go by really, really fast. The number to call this morning is 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. Recapping yesterday, I got to tell you, there is And I don't understand. Well, I do understand. There is a lot going on as far as this election season, and the vitriol between the candidates. I got to tell you, I don't think it's been as strong. I mean, you've got the fighting among the supporters between the main two or the top two candidates is actually taking me a little bit by surprise. I'm sort of caught in the middle. I really am, because the Cruz people can, insist and accuse me of being a rabid Trump supporter. And Trump supporters accuse me of being a vapid, do not understand, anti-constitutionalist Cruz. Supporter. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've had some Trump people talking to me about Cruz, telling me that I'm not a true conservative and I'm anti-Constitution because I'm supporting that candidate that I refuse to bash. Look, they've all got negatives. What I want to hear, what the undecided voter wants to hear, is the positives about what your particular candidate of choice is going to do. And I give people a forum here to do that, and some of you just refuse to do that. I had a gentleman calling yesterday. He refused to have a conversation. So when I finally decided, what, this is my show, and if you don't like it, don't call. Don't listen. Start your own show. And if somebody thinks that I'm rude for telling that person to shut up, well, you can stop listening too. Because when somebody rambles on, when I'm trying to get them to calm down, and to have a conversation with them, and they won't shut up, I'm going to tell them to shut up. Now, I don't understand this whole thing. Well, that's rude. Now, give me a break. It's rude. Well, unfortunately, they can't see. I don't have video, so they can't see me doing the hand gesture to tell them to shut up. Because usually when somebody is being overbearing like that, and we're face to face, I'll just look at him and I'll move my hands like a puppet and say, this is what you're doing, and this is what I want you to do. And I'll stop moving my hands like a puppet. And first of all, there is nobody who's the only candidate to do this, this, and this. If you listen to yourselves, you'd understand that that is a bunch of BS. Plain and simple, there is no such thing as the only. It's like saying, well, Bernie Sanders is the only socialist. Over on the Democrat side. Really? Is somebody going to really believe that? No, of course not. So this whole notion that Cruz is the only candidate who's for the Constitution. Yeah, what a crock. And what really kind of ticks me off is when somebody says that I'm anti-American or anti-Constitution and I'm not a true conservative. You know, you just really show your ignorance. And frankly, your stupidity. Because you have no idea what you're talking about when you utter stupid stuff like that. Quite frankly, you know, not to pat myself on the back, but I guarantee you that I am more of a constitutionalist than half of the Cruz supporters who say that they understand the Constitution. They're of the evangelical group. There is not enough people in enough states for him to win the presidency. Now, some people will say, "Well, that's a anti-God problem in the United States." No, it's not. It has always been that way. I fully understand what our founding fathers intended. You know, they even said so about Christianity and involved in government and electing Christian men and God-fearing men, and I get all of that. But this country has never had such a voting evangelical majority. Sure, you know, the vast majority of Americans view themselves as Christians, although that number is dwindling. The more Muslims and anti-Christians we allow. Into the country, thanks to Obama. But they're not evangelical. Now, Cruz arguably is an evangelical. So it's easy for him to walk among evangelicals and speak to them the way they want to be spoken to. Now, I've heard some more than a few people tell me that sounds kind of phony. They don't like the way Cruz sounds. I have said on the air, I have a problem with the way he speaks. He sounds too polished, too rehearsed, too well trained, and his cadence and his speech, it sounds like he's coming out of a like a movie or something. It's all been scripted for him. That does not mean that he's not a genuine person. It's just where he comes from. This is how politicians are groomed in Texas. And make no mistake about it, he is a politician. Cruz is not an anti-politician. He is a professional politician. But he's viewed as an outsider. Hey, look, Bernie Sanders is a professional politician. The man has been in politics for decades. But he's viewed as an outsider. Because, Sanders and Cruz, they won't capitulate to the party line. They just won't do it. So when that happens, you have to ask, well, is he really the candidate for me if I'm looking for a non-politician or an outsider? Well, maybe not. Well, Donald Trump is the non-politician outsider. And Donald Trump has already proven what Ted Cruz has not proven. Now, look, you Ted Cruz supporters, you have to understand that this is the reality. This is the truth on the ground. This is why some people are concerned about Ted Cruz. Donald Trump has already shown that he can pull from Democrats. We call them Reaganites or Reagan Democrats. Because Reagan did this in each of his 2 landslide victories. Donald Trump has already proven that he can pull in the Democrats and the independents. Donald Trump is also proving that he can do something that Republicans have had an issue with and trouble doing for the past 40 or so years. Start pulling in a significant portion of the black vote. Cruz, understand this, outside of Republicans, is not garnering the Democratic or the independent black vote at all. He's not pulling it. This is the problem that Cruz has, and I'm trying to tell you people who are Cruz supporters that you need to start talking positive about your candidate and stop bashing Trump, because you're not winning converts, and you're going to need these converts in November if Cruz is the nominee. Because you're not getting them. And that's a problem. But whenever I talk to you Cruzites, you don't want to hear that. All you want to do is bash Trump. And you Trumpites, there are other issues that Donald Trump has that you Trumpites don't want to talk about. All you want to do is talk about Ted Cruz. Look, and right now Donald Trump is inflaming that whole issue about Ted being born in Canada. This is not a good sign, folks. Not a good sign. We got a call here, 336. You're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Go.
Good morning, Rod.
Good morning.
This is a Trump supporter, and I want to talk about some positive things this morning. I don't want to dwell on negative stuff this morning. I'm pitching for my guy Trump, and I just want to talk about some of the things he's done. When I first started kind of connecting with him is when he had Jamil Shaw. He had his father up on the stage talking about the illegals, and Jamil Shaw's son was shot and killed just a little ways down from his house. He also had Sabine Darnan talking about her son being killed by an illegal and released early and still probably running around somewhere in California right now. And I want to talk about Trump's predictions on some of these things, like the stuff that happened out in California with these shootings, and the illegals coming across that may be from Syria or they may be from Mexico. We really don't know. And I really love that about him. And this is another thing too. This keeps being repeated over and over again. He is self-financing his own campaign. Up in Iowa, he spent $300 average per vote up there, and the closest one to him was Rubio, that was double that amount. Then you go on up to Cruz, which tripled that amount, and then it goes all the way up to Jeb Bush spending $2,000 a vote, which is just crazy to me. We don't want a country that is ran in that same manner. That's what we have right now. We definitely don't want that. And the charity that Trump is putting out there for vets, it's not a joke. It's not a ploy. it's not a campaign. It's not a campaign pusher for him. It's something that he loves to do anyway. He's done it all of his life. He's not perfect. He is not. He's not the type of person that needs to go in there and I don't know, push hidden agendas. He has no one financing his campaign but himself. He's also said when he becomes president, if he becomes president, and that's my hope, he will work for free. He's not charging a salary. So that's another expense America does not have to pay for.
Well, I got to tell you, I haven't heard that. I have not heard that he was, going to forego the $400,000 presidential annual salary.
That is fact. And if you want to check it, Rod, you know, I try to be a simple man, but also try to be an honest man. That is fact. That is fact. And if anyone else can say their candidate can do that, then bring it, because I want to hear it. If you're working for free, you're working for me, baby. If somebody will come and mow my yard for free, I'll fix them a meal and buy them a beer. But you don't see that anymore. You don't see folks doing that. To me, that's a true patriot. A true patriot is doing this for our country and our country alone. And again, I think he will raise our economy to a level that we had during the Reagan years. I think he will do what he needs. As far as that, even the Clinton years. And I'm talking about Bill Clinton. I'm not talking about Hillary that needs to be in jail. But I'm talking about a strong economy, and a strong economy props everybody up. I want to see Trump go into the poor black neighborhoods of Baltimore. I want to see him talk to these people, and let's create some jobs. Let's stop the hatred and the anger and the violence in the streets, and whatever it takes. I think Trump will do that. I think jobs creates a lot of things. It creates strong families. It creates a strong country. And I just think that's what we need in Trump. And I'm ready to debate anybody on it. And if you want to play one of the other candidates this morning and role play, and I'll play Trump, I'm fine with that. I'm just ready to debate. I'm ready for Trump to win this. And thank you, Rod.
Well, thank you for that. Look, there are probably three candidates. Now, I'm going to be frank. There's probably three candidates right now that I'm leaning towards. Now, for those of you who are in the Cruz-only camp, I said three candidates. Not one. There's three. And the reason is because I'm listening to what the candidates are saying. And the issue that I have is, which is keeping me from, I'm not the only one, because I'm hearing this from people. The issue that I have that keeps me from pulling the lever before the vote to decide to back one particular candidate isn't because I have this microphone. It's simply because of the supporters of these three candidates. Many of them are so rabid and vapid that they turn people off to their candidate. And in this particular election, not a single candidate can take a single vote for granted. Because if you're taking one for granted, you better believe there's thousands of others that you're turning off as well. That's how voters are. And a lot of times these supporters of these guys just don't seem to understand it. And you know what? There's a lot of times I blame the candidates themselves because they do not rein in their supporters. And so far right now, I haven't heard any candidate rein in, and I'm talking the entire field on both sides. I haven't heard any of them talking about reining in their rabid and vapid supporters. I haven't heard them say, hey, tone down the rhetoric a little bit. We really want to get people to come to our side and listen to what we have to say. I have heard none of them say that so far. And this is not unusual. I'm not saying that this is unusual, because it's not. But what I'm saying is what somebody needs to do is they need to step up, especially. Now, I'm pointing out the two top candidates especially, because the Cruz and Trump supporters are the worst that I have seen on the Republican side in years.
Well, if I can explain part of that, I'm not comfortable with with some of the rhetoric that's out there myself, even though I'm Trump all the way. But part of this, and I'm not using this as an excuse. I'm saying this as a fact. This all was predicated by Mitt Romney. When Mitt Romney sat on his hands for months and didn't fight back, that has caused a lot of anger. I think people are as angry about that as they are about Obama in some circumstances.
I agree. They are. Voters are very angry.
And anger is a very detrimental thing to have as far as a voter. But the thing is, you have to stay on the defensive all the time right now, because media has their picks for the presidency, and that leaves a lot of us that are out here in the real world wondering, it's really an anger thing, because when you watch Fox News or you watch CNN, they don't only prop up a candidate, they demoralize a lot of folks. Rand Paul dropped out this morning, and I try to be a good American, and I love Rand Paul for some of the things he stands for. Some of the things I'm not agreed upon, but I'm not pissed off at Rand Paul. I'm pissed off at the media, and that causes Trump followers and Cruz followers to attack each other, because when you turn on the damn TV and you see the things that are said in private and the things that are said in public that we don't particularly agree with, but yet they seem to be a fact.
Hold that thought, my friend. Hold that thought. Okay. We're coming up to a break, and I'm a little bit past it already. Folks, we'll be right back.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars, all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Friends Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Welcome back. 603-835-3224. I am still your lovable host, El Rod. I'm still very lovable, even when I tell certain people to shut up. I really am. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not lovable anymore. I really am. But anyway, let's continue our conversation with our wonderful caller. And now you were talking about. You just mentioned that Rand Paul dropped out of the race, and I have to say that what's going to happen now is I believe that Cruz is going to pick up a lot of that non-libertarian nut job base that Paul had, and they'll probably go over to Cruz simply because they believe. Now let's be honest, there are people that do not feel that Trump is a true Reagan conservative. And, I mean, some of the things that Trump has said of late, and we're not talking about, his previous positions in the past, back in the 80s or 90s, or even, during the earlier part of the new century, because he's a businessman. He'll say and do what he needs to do to placate certain political parties so they don't make it difficult for him to continue to do business. And he's not the only businessman. They all do that. Microsoft donates to both sides of the political aisle. Google has done it. They all do it, and it's just expediency and called survival out there because politicians can make their lives miserable. But what a lot of people are questioning is Trump's use of the term universal health care, and I got to tell you, I had a problem when I heard him talking about that. I did. I don't believe government. I don't believe government should be involved in healthcare at all. Trump seems to think that there is he's of the mindset of repeal and replace. A lot of conservatives, especially those that are following Cruz, are saying repeal, leave it alone.
Okay, but this is the way I see it. Okay, Trump is fresh and he's fresh and bold in this campaign. And he does intend on replacing and repealing Obamacare. And we can't judge right now on what that's going to look like. That's something that's going to have to be worked out through Congress. He's not going to bypass Congress like somebody we know right now that hates America, and I'm talking about Barack Obama. He will start this thing anew and work out what needs to be done for it to be done in a fair way. Like I told you the other day, I won't stand by and watch my neighbor die because they don't have a job and they can't afford their insurance. That's not American. But I'm not saying give everybody a free ride, but let's make sure everybody has health care that's not illegal immigrants. If the illegal immigrant situation is taken care of, we're not going to see a free insurance program. We're going to see an insurance program that's fair, and I believe that's what Trump is talking about. And it may take a while to get the illegal situation taken care of, but my God, what have we done in the past 8 years? Nothing. And I also want to say this. Trump is not like Cruz. Trump will go into the office willing to work both sides of the aisle, get something done. You turn on C-SPAN any day and you see a Republican stand up and bitch to a Democrat. You see a Democrat stand up and bitch to a Republican. That's not what we need. I see Cruz standing up and speaking of Dr. Seuss, and I'm not saying this jokingly, what good did that do? That just made the Republicans look like fools. We did nothing. They did nothing. They could have shut the government down and at least made a statement, but nothing happened. And I don't see Cruz being able to go all the way across this country and garner the votes from both sides of the aisle and from independents like we need. And I see Trump being able to do that. And I can put that argument up any day, and I'm willing to debate that any day. And I want to say to the people of New Hampshire this morning, please go out and vote for Trump. Vote for bold and fresh. Don't vote for somebody that's going to go into the White House and keep this government stagnant in a swamp like it's been for the past 8 years. We need Trump. We need him badly. We need our economy fixed. We need our military fixed. We need illegal immigrants taken care of the right way, sent back home, brought in if they deserve it. And anyway, I digress.
You know, I just mentioned that about Cruz, that Trump is able to pull from a wide variety of demographics in this country, where Cruz, in areas that Cruz is going to have trouble, and this is a fact, and you know, you Cruz supporters, you can call in and tell me that is not true, and show me the proof in the pudding there, but we've already seen Trump being able to do that. That is just undeniable. Now, what I believe that a lot of people on the Cruz side are saying is that whenever they talk about working with Democrats, and they get scared of this. They really do, rightfully so, because whenever the Republicans talk about working with the Democrats, what it really and ultimately means is capitulating and giving the Democrats 75 to 100% of what the Democrats are asking for. In other words, crossing the aisle means that Republicans cross the aisle to the Democrats. It isn't the Democrats. See, I don't want anybody crossing the aisle. If anything, if we're going to have an honest government, I don't want Republicans crossing the aisle. I want Democrats and Republicans meeting in the aisle. And frankly, because I'm a constitutional conservative, I want the Republicans to show some backbone and totally eviscerate the left. I mean, I want them so weakened and so thrown out of this country, liberalism, that it can't show its head for another 100 years. That's what as a conservative, constitutional conservative, that is what I want from the Republicans. But the Republicans so far to date, since 2010, instead of showing some backbone, like Cruz did, whether or not you like him, preaching about Dr. Seuss or not, him and Rand Paul have done some things that many of the other Republicans refused to do. And they were attempting to eviscerate the liberal mindset. They weren't willing to cross the aisle. I don't want them to cross the aisle. Most Republicans don't want them crossing the aisle. Hell, that's all we've done over the past 40 years is cross the aisle, cross the aisle. What have we gotten for it?
Well,
absolutely nothing.
Okay, this is my take. When you say crossing the aisle, and I say crossing the aisle, I'm not talking about literally going over and becoming part liberal or even being equally liberal as a Democrat. I'm talking about a president that can go in and garner the votes from the Democratic Party that the Republicans need to pass some of their programs and stop this. Okay, I'm on this side, you're on that side. I know I'm not going to get your votes, so screw it. We're just going to keep on going like we're going. Now, if Cruz could go in and talk to Republicans, he can't even get along with Republicans in there right now. And, that's okay. That's okay to put up that constitutional stance. But unless you get some kind of job done from that stance, it's useless. We all believe in the Constitution. I'd like to consider every good American that is on the Republican side a good constitutionalist. That's hard to say. But, if we go in and if we don't negotiate deals with the other side, we're in the same damn situation we are today as we speak on the radio this morning. So I'm asking New Hampshire to vote for Trump and to vote for somebody that can go in and make good deals for this country and not just stand there like they're in quicksand for another 4 years. We don't need that. Vote Trump, please. All right, Rod.
All right, my friend. Thank you again for a wonderful call.
Thank you, Rod.
We'll see what happens in just a few days. Our primary is coming up this Tuesday. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Rod, come on, man. Vote for Trump. You know you got it in you, brother. Do it.
I'll let you know after.
Man.
I may let everybody know after the primary Tuesday which of the three candidates I eventually decided to back for the primary.
Okay, be the fresh, bold, lightning rod I know you are, man. Vote Trump. Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Have a good one. Well, folks, I'm serious about this when it comes to what I'm saying about the different candidates and what the supporters of each candidate is saying. And one of the things that candidates cannot do is they cannot dismiss the feelings and the emotions and the thoughts of other candidate supporters. First of all, that's very disingenuous. Second of all, that's very un-American. Third, you want to talk about being smart and intelligent. It's not very smart to do that. You can't very well insult people into supporting your position. You can't do that. It's just not going to work. Have you? Now, I just want you to think for a second. If somebody insulted you or has insulted you in the past or denigrated you in the past, has that caused you to go to their side of the argument? That's never worked. In my understanding of human history, that insulting somebody to get to them to come to your side has never worked. As a matter of fact, when you're now, sure, as a talk show host, and many talk show hosts, sometimes we have the shock value, so sometimes we can call out people, maybe even call them a name or two. We may not even mean it, but it's a shock value that gets people interested in listening. You get that kind of thing. I understand it, but when you're actually talking to people one-on-one, and you're actually trying to convince them, but remember, you're trying to get them to convince themselves. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So you can't force somebody to think like you do. My whole job is not to get people to think to believe what I believe, but just to think logically, and they will naturally believe what I believe. So if I'm talking to somebody and we're having a conversation about something, the last thing that is going to get me to see their point of view is if they start calling me names, which is the liberal tactic. They do it all the time. I mean, usually when I get a liberal on the air or I get a liberal in front of me, within the first 5 minutes of our conversation, they've devolved into calling me names because they know they've lost the argument. They have nothing else to say because their argument is shallow. They don't know their facts. They don't know their history. So they're devoid of any legitimate argument. So what do they have left? Calling somebody a name. So let me tell you something. When you start off by calling somebody a name, it means that you are devoid of a valid argument. Plain and simple. Now, I know one of the things that Trump has just done the past 24 hours that I'm not particularly a fan of is, and maybe, Trump is Trump. You got to understand his personality. Again, it's putting him in the news. And this is what this is all about, folks. This is all about getting in front of the people, keeping your message in front of the people. Now, what politicians have usually done, at least in the past 50 years or so, is spent a lot of money, more and more and more money each election. More and more and more and more money each president. I mean, we're now spending upwards of nearly $2 billion on presidential elections. That's insane. For a country that is so wired, that is so interconnected, to have to spend $2 billion to get your message across, and that's just the candidates spending the money. That's not all the other money that is being spent out there. Talking about the PACs, the super PACs, the individuals, the news media, they're all spending money too. The last presidential election with Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. Now, what did they spend? They spent, combined, they spent over $1.5 billion. It is estimated that all the super PACs and the news media and all the alternative media and everybody else that was out there trying to get the message across for their favorite candidate, it is estimated they spent another $1.5 billion. We're talking $3 billion for the presidency of the United States of America that pays $400,000 a year. And now you come along and you have Trump spending, what did the last caller say, $300 a vote? He's self-funding his campaign, which means he's really keeping his eye on the dollars being spent. Now, I know yesterday on the right group, we were talking about Trump not having very much of a ground game, which was very apparent in Iowa. In other words, he doesn't have, it's not like he doesn't have the traditional campaign where there are campaign offices and campaign headquarters all over the country with people, with paid staffers in each one of those offices going around trying to convince people to, excuse me, almost coughed there. Excuse me, almost sneezed. Trying to go around, trying to convince people to vote for them. Trump has done it by, as some people say, by the sheer presence of his own personality. I'm telling you, it is not the sheer presence of Trump's personality, although it is bombastic, but it is his ability to understand and utilize alternative forms of media to keep his name, to keep his message out in front of the people. You don't have to, if you have to spend tons and tons of money to get your message across, I think you've got a weak message. Barack Obama spent $1 billion last, what was it, 900 million, right? Something like that. $1 billion or so last time to get reelected. And he had to spend that kind of money as a sitting incumbent president because his message was so weak. He had to overcome his previous 4 years of failure in the office. And we're talking, this is a guy who absolutely knows how to utilize social media. He's probably, well, he's definitely the first president to really use it. And he definitely knows how to use it because he's still using it. So here's a guy who knew how to utilize social media and the free side of it too. And yet he still spent $1 billion. I mean, that's insanity. And Donald Trump has just flipped the entire thing, the entire way that campaigns are funded and they spend money upside down. God, he really has. And he still came in second, a very close second place in Iowa. What did he get? What did he garner? 7 delegates versus Cruz's win of 8. And people say, well, Donald Trump lost. No, he didn't. I'm going to say this. Just looking at the numbers and the amount of money that was spent and the amount of time that was spent in the state of Iowa by each of the candidates, and looking at the return, I can see how Donald Trump is trying to spin this as a win for himself. I'm going to go a little bit further, and I'm going to say that in a state, an evangelical state, and as much time as Cruz spent there, to have 2 candidates, especially the one finishing second place, spend hardly any time, have no ground game there, is definitely not an evangelical. To garner 7 delegates and you only garner 8, and you have a third place guy who wasn't even supposed to be up there in your rarefied air come in third and again garner another 7, it's not a win for Cruz. I'm telling you, Cruz people, right now, it's not a win for you. This is a wake-up call. Now, you're not going to hear this from any pundit out there, and you're not going to hear it. As I was listening to Rush yesterday, and I was like, come on, Rush, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. This is a Trump and Rubio victory. It's a Cruz loss. It's a Cruz loss. Because he only got 8 of the delegates. He only got 28% of the vote. And he visited every single county in Iowa. And he only garnered 28%. Trump has hardly been there. And what did he get? 24, 25%? That's not a victory for Cruz. That's showing his weak spot all across. Now, if he did, he cannot visit every single county in every state in this country. There isn't enough time. Good luck on trying that one and repeating that one again. Sure, he can probably do that in New Hampshire. No problem. What do we got? 13 counties in New Hampshire? That's it. So also, he can visit every county in New Hampshire. You want to try visiting every county in New York? California? Florida? Illinois? You can't do it. A lot of these states are too big. There isn't enough time. And if that's what he had to do to pull out a 28% victory over Trump and Rubio, who each got 7 of the available delegates, and you only get 8, that's not a victory. That tells you exactly that the man is weak in certain categories and garnering certain types of votes that he's going to need to win the general election. Wake up. I'm not saying he can't win it. I'm telling you people that there's a problem. And you supporters need to wake up about that and stop attacking Trump. Now, on the other side, I got some issues with the Trump people. One of the problems is your candidate doesn't have a ground game. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the infrastructure. And a candidate with infrastructure that has a massive ground game, hello, Bernie Sanders, that's going to be a problem for you. So you can't run around, Trump can claim a victory in Iowa, but he cannot win a general election by the sheer bombacity of his personality. He's going to have to get down and dirty with a ground game, which means supporters out there supporting him and doing all the legwork. Now, I may have said it was a loss for Cruz, but hey, he still pulled it out because he had a ground game in Iowa. And that is going to be important as we move forward in this election. Oh yeah, folks, there is no perfect candidate. I've said this before. Really. You guys got to figure this out.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom133.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom133.com. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom133.com.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, whew, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Hopefully, if you can't hear me, that's looks like you can hear me. Hopefully, you can. I think I've corrected some of the issues with the sound. I have no idea what was up with the ultra sensitivity, and what I found is that see, when I have the microphone plugged into the computer unit, as it were, the internal microphone of the computer is supposed to be off. The problem is all that humming and computer noise that you're hearing was from the machine itself, because somehow the internal microphone of the computer's built-in microphone got turned on. And because it was also because of the microphone here, it was being amplified. So I don't know how it got turned on. I don't. I wish I did. Then I could probably fix it, and it would be everything would be copacetic and all cool and all that kind of stuff. But well, anyway, good morning, welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the wonderful world that I live in. If you'd like to give us a call, 603 835-3224. And we will get to you as soon as we possibly can. I noticed that my phone bank was kind of lit up during the break, and I try not to answer the phones during the break because it's very difficult to do the things I need to do to prepare for the next segment. I do need an engineer. But anyway, the number is 603-835-3224 here on the Rod Eccles Show. And we will attempt to get you on, and let's see if we can pull another call on the line here. 781, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Go.
Hey, how you doing, Rod?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Well, actually, I'm very disappointed about the Iowa caucus. I get that, it wasn't that, it's a 8-7?
Yes.
And I think he's going to win, Trump's going to win New Hampshire. I think he's going to win South Carolina. I think he probably will win Florida. But I just feel like the media is not, everything is centered on Cruz right now. And it's BS. It really is.
Well, because the media, let's face it, the media feels that they don't want Trump to be the winner. They don't want Trump to win.
I get that, but that's not fair. It's about the American people. It's not about them.
Now, let's be honest. When have you known? How long has it been since the American media has been fair and hasn't interjected its own wishes into an American election?
Probably about the 60s. That's right, 60s.
Exactly. So, they've been trying to push and pick the choice of candidate ever since both of us probably have been alive.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, the last election especially, or the last two elections, the 2008 election, is a prime example of the media finally being able to do that on both sides of the political aisle at the same time. Make no mistake about it. The media dropped Hillary Clinton and went for Barack Obama. They anointed him as the Democratic candidate, and Obama won. They anointed John McCain as the Republican candidate, and John McCain won the nomination. And then because the media is simply putting out there who they don't want to win because they know that the person that if we choose them, they're most likely going to beat their candidate on the Democratic side. They want to pick the candidate that they believe can actually lose in the general election. The last two presidential elections, the media was dead on about who could not win the general election on the Republican side. They gave us McCain, they gave us Romney. They knew that. And we on the Republican side, the electorate, we allowed it to happen. The problem is at this time, we don't seem to be allowing that to happen. And we've got two really strong major top vote-getting candidates that are anti-establishment, anti-media, and they're bucking the trend. And the mainstream media is beside themselves. They just can't, and they're having troubles on the Democratic side too. They don't want Bernie Sanders, but he is giving Hillary. Hillary should have walked away in Iowa with a win. She should have walked away. I mean, right now there are people saying out there in Iowa that possibly the old Clinton tactics are at play, and she stole the election or the caucus. So this time around,
well, if you look at Santorum, though. If Santorum was not in that whole situation, that what was it, 0.6, I think Sanders would have got it.
That is
if
highly
you look
possible.
at that, if you look at that slight difference, it would have been slight, but still, I think in the end it was kind of a 50-50. But I honestly, I cannot, and I was a person. I just want to state this. When Obama first ran, because Obama seemed to come from nowhere. Remember, in the end, it kind of was like, boom, there he was. Exactly. And I was one of the people, I was attending a black university, which is significant to my statement, who, of course, and I was down in the South at the time. I'm a Northerner, but I was down in the South going to school. And I, along with the NAACP, was helping getting people, black Americans, to the polls who had never voted before. It was a movement. It was a great movement, and there was a lot of hope, and that was awesome. But unfortunately, Obama didn't exactly pan out to be what I thought he was going to pan out to be. And
he had a lot of people fooled, but he didn't have me fooled. And some people say, well, Rod, you didn't predict. I said, if you go back to when I started in 2009, you will hear me talk about exactly what I thought Obama was going to do, what he was going to be, and I was dead on.
Well, it's really, really sad because I really wonder, because you're seeing a lot of black Americans, because when we're talking about the votes, Trump needs the black vote and he needs the Latino vote. And Sanders is going to get those votes. And it's really odd. They say that, according to what I'm reading, that black Americans
this is a really odd season. See, blacks are I hate using this stupid word, disenfranchised, but they're disenfranchised by Hillary, but because they don't trust her. And the big problem is that blacks have nowhere to go because they're sure as hell not supporting an old white man in the name of Bernie Sanders. They're tired of that stuff. They're not. But the interesting thing is that Trump is garnering some of that support. He's garnering some of the African American support. He's bringing them over to him. I mean, we're looking at some very liberal polls that are showing that 5 to 8% of the African American community actually supports Trump. That's a huge number. I
think they admire his strength. That's what I think they admire.
Yeah, but there was back in September I do believe it was an NBC poll that showed that of previous black voters. This is back in September, and obviously the numbers can change. But what struck me was that NBC did the poll. 25% of black voters at that particular point would support Trump for president. That gave rise to the wonderful black ladies of Diamond and Silk on YouTube. Their videos have gone viral all over the place.
Right.
But there is this notion that everybody has been trying to, or the mainstream media has been trying to say that Trump and the Republicans are racist and they can't get the Latino vote, they can't get the black vote, they can't get the minority vote, and Trump is proving otherwise. He's getting both. And frankly, you've got Cruz and Rubio, who are both Latinos, who are obviously going to garner the Latino vote. So this whole notion...
Are they though?
Well,
do we really... No, what I'm saying to you is, do we really think about the American image of Cuba, right? Think of when we're talking about people who vote. I mean, I personally... Latino to me is just a language. It's not, I don't dismiss the cultures. But, I mean, when we look at... Is there a group of people who remember, right, the crisis, with Cuba, and it's saying, well, they're Cubans. There's an absolute, I've heard some talk about that versus of a different Latino culture. I'm hearing a lot of Latinos here in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is going to be a huge problem. And I'll be honest with you, I went to the campaign office, and I'm not seeing much happening. It's frustrating me. I think we have to be really diligent.
What you have in Massachusetts, and this is something that the media really isn't pointing to or breaking out, and they're doing it for a reason. But we have to understand that here in Massachusetts, good old New England, a very large portion of the Latino population is Puerto Rican. Now, Puerto Ricans are not.
That's right. They're Democrats. They're Democrats.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to get a little trouble here, but I'm trying to separate them here so people can understand this. Puerto Ricans, for the sake of this argument, are not Latino. They're Americans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, when you start
stemmed out of the Bay of Pigs, can we just
yeah,
that's important.
but when you start talking about other Latino groups, like Cubans, like South and Central Americans, maybe not so much Mexicans, but South and Central Americans, you're talking about a group of people, especially Cubans. You go into Miami, Cubans are not very democratic. They're highly Republican.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about conservative parts of a culture, subculture, if you will, that is very conservative. And they're going to flock to one of their own, which is Rubio and Cruz. But the interesting thing is that they're also looking at Trump. Now, the Puerto Ricans, and I know I'm going to catch hell for this, but I'm going to just keep on with this scenario. The Puerto Ricans who are not Latino, they're American. They have fallen into, because of where, their island state nation is in some terrible trouble. Much like California. So they've been brought up to think that things are given to them, which is kind of odd because, the Puerto Ricans that I know here in New England, they're all pretty hardworking people, and they don't like having things taken from them, but yet and still they vote. It's kind of like the black vote. For some reason, the Democrats have garnered them, and they've been able to keep them. I don't get it, because they're the exact opposite of what they're voting for. But
But you just hit the nail on the head. You just said it. Because they do not understand the political process. I was helping a Latino advocacy group, which many of them, even though they were from Puerto Rico, they didn't speak English very well. They had just come over here. You know what I mean? They haven't been here long, even though we say that they, obviously Puerto Rico is part of America, blah, 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 blah. They're still, in some sense, parts of, obviously, Puerto Rico, and people coming over here still simply are not, assimilated for those that come over here. So they're trying very, very hard to figure out the political process here, how it works, but they're very naive, very, very naive. They do not understand. You have to go back and study some poli-sci, some history, stuff that, if you look at Puerto Rico, that they really weren't part of this country at that time, a very relevant history that took place. And having that big piece missing would, I think, change their point of view as to where this country is today, where it was before, and where we're going.
Yeah, there is some definite validity to what you're saying. But what I'm seeing here is that, again, there is this naivete, because before this whole notion of Puerto Ricans just all of a sudden flooding the eastern seaboard is a relatively new phenomenon. Yeah, Puerto Ricans have migrated to the states, as it were. I want people to understand, Puerto Ricans are American. They're American citizens. They have the same voting rights as any other citizen does. Same rights as any other citizen. So they're not, for all intents and purposes, you might as well just call Puerto Rico a state, the 51st state, because that's basically what it is, without having the full benefits of being a state. But that's what it is. So, but because of the economic conditions in Puerto Rico over the last 10 or 15 years, that has caused a number of them to leave the island.
That's right.
And come to the mainland. So this is something new for them, because they have been isolated down there for so long. And you're right, they're a little naive about the whole political process here, because they've been isolated from it. Now they're coming here and they're getting it. But the thing is that I'm seeing is, and I've worked with a lot of Puerto Ricans over the past 10 or 15 years, and I see their work ethic. They're not really lazy people. They're hardworking. And let me tell you, they're getting it. And they're actually getting it kind of fast. They're understanding that, wait a minute, I'm working hard, and these other people are just sitting on their butts. And they have some ambition. And they don't like being taken advantage of. And they are picking up on this really fast, that the Democrats are taking advantage of them. Even in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, I'm seeing it, and I'm hearing it. And this past election cycle, I've heard, I've got quite a few Puerto Rican friends, and I'm telling you, I could probably count less than one hand the number that have openly supported Hillary Clinton, the Democratic nominee this time. They're all thinking Republican, simply because they want to be able to keep their money. They want to be able to raise their own family, with their own standards and their own culture, because they're now looking at, and this is something that I think people have to pay attention to. Puerto Ricans are now starting to view Democrats as being hostile to their culture.
See, I would disagree in Massachusetts, because the programs that they're funding, that the Puerto Rican, we have a lot of different Puerto Rican groups here Latino groups, that they do not, as I've mentioned before, I called on the 25th, I had mentioned, they do not want their programs touched.
Nobody does. Even a Republican, if they're benefiting from a government program, nobody wants their program cut.
I'm telling you, here they are so in bed with each other. It's crazy. They're so in bed. So many politicians will go to these, the Latino, offices, and they'll sit down and they'll have these powwows on the budget, and they'll piggyback certain things that they want. You know what I mean? And the thing is, and I've gone to the State House with them to try to be a liaison, and I've seen how indignant that. Here they are supporting these Democratic politicians here, and these Democratic politicians' aides are being indignant to these people, and they don't even realize it. They do not, and I'm not talking about the assimilated Puerto Rican, obviously, or the assimilated Latino. I'm talking about, the ones that you're talking about who have come over here and are coming over here because they are so destitute. And I actually asked, why? Let me ask you a question. Why are you voting the way you're voting? And they say, well, because here's the way it works. Whenever there was a bill or anything, they say, no. If we vote them in, then they have to do what we say. No, that's not how it works. They'll tell you what you want to hear, and then once they're elected, they'll do whatever they want to do. Yeah, and you better catch up on that one real quick. You know what I mean?
That happens a lot, but look, there are Americans that still think that. On regular white America still thinks that on the Democratic side, but I think what is happening with the Puerto Ricans and what the Caribbean Latinos have already learned, specifically Cubans. Oh, look, you go down to Miami, and this is part of the reason why Florida is not a liberal state. It's moderate, but this is part of the reason, because the Latino community down in Florida is highly conservative because they come from oppressive states like Cuba. Right. They get it. The Puerto Ricans, you're right, they are naive. This is new to them as far as a large independent group that is now making an impact, because before they didn't make an impact. Now they've got numbers, especially in Massachusetts.
They've organized.
They're learning the process, and they're starting to come around and realize, well, you know what? These idiots on the left, they're not really helping us. They're harming us. It's taking a while. It's not going as fast as we want, but I'm telling you, they're learning this faster than African Americans have learned it. And now African Americans are starting to come back and think, well, you know what? We were once conservative. Why the hell did we go liberal? And they're starting to slowly see that everything that the Democrats have been promising them over the past 50 years, none of it has come to fruition. None of it has come true. And I think Puerto Ricans are figuring that out faster than African Americans did.
Well, I would say maybe northern. I think the southern African American is far different. I think that what I personally saw from attending,
they are
totally. They listened. They knew it was their ancestors who passed on the stories from slavery, who knew, hey, we've got an opportunity now. We've got colleges now. And they fought for all those things. Tuskegee Airmen, all these things. So much positive came out from the South as far as for Black Americans. They fought for everything that they got. And let me tell you something. There's some polished Black students down from the South. I mean, we had to take etiquette classes. I mean, they want to make sure when you graduate, because there was so much, they weren't allowed to have fraternities. And so their fraternities are very, very strong in the South. Mm-hmm. These things, most of America is totally out of touch with. So totally out of touch with. And yet, I'm telling you, these guys, in fact, when you look at the Alphas versus, you have the different fraternities, but they had their own philosophy. They wanted, for instance, the Alphas, they want to be completely polished. Every Friday, they come to class in a suit. You know what I mean? They want to speak proper English. They don't want to speak slang.
Yeah.
Look. We get some very, very educated, smart Black students coming out of the South. North is different. The North is very...
Well, this is, I can speak very eloquently about the Northeast because I live here and I've lived in various places, so I can, speak from personal experience about how all that works. But there is some truth to that. There is if you have a Southern Black that's up here, you pick him out right away. You do. They do have some charm and grace that is absent from most Northern Blacks. And look, I'm being honest about it. It's the truth. there is something about a Southern black gentleman that is very different from a Northern black non-gentleman. In any case, yeah, I fully understand the whole point of people being a little bit naive and but I think this time around what you're seeing is I think you're seeing more and more. It's a slow process, but I think you're seeing more and more people come around and wake up to which gives me hope, which is why I say don't panic, because we haven't lost the country yet. There is still hope. There is that glimmer of light. And I hope, even though that you're from Massachusetts, and I am very sorry that you have to live down there, really. I know the deal. That's why I live up in New Hampshire. I got to go to a breakdown. I do thank you for the call. Wonderful call. Folks, I'm just going to leave it there, and we'll be back.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars, all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Friends Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Welcome back, folks. Gotta love that kind of stuff. That's one of my favorite new bumpers. And don't worry, I know a lot of you have liked some of the old bumpers. They will be reintroduced into the rotation this month, as well as there are some additional new ones that are coming. Yeah, we keep expanding this. You know, my whole goal is to make this a very enjoyable and pleasant program for you. This has got to be such an enjoyable 3 hours for you that you don't even realize it's been 3 hours by the time it's over, that you want it to be more. And part of that is having some really good content. Part of that content is bumpers, because I've actually had people tell me that they've liked the bumpers and they would like to hear the full length of some of the bumpers. And we do some of the stuff, some of the bumpers were absolutely developed specifically as a short piece, and there aren't longer versions. Some of the bumpers do have longer versions, and which would allow me to take different parts of them, if you will, to use as bumpers. But anyway, 603-835-3224 is the number to call if you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. We've had a couple of callers already. Weigh in on what they think, what they feel, all that kind of wonderful stuff. And, that's good. It can be good. Want to hear what everybody has to say, sincerely. But ultimately, it is on my shoulders to keep you fully interested and entertained and informed. So we'll continue that tradition that I have done since 2009, henceforth at this particular point. U.S. General, this is from WND.com. U.S. General says, Hillary email shows pattern of mishandling secrets. Look, folks, I understand people's frustration. And look, there's one of the things that the lamestream media doesn't like to discuss or cover is, because we all hear about this, them bashing on Hillary about the email. This is just a Republican thing. No, obviously, with the Iowa caucus, it is not just Republicans that have a problem with Hillary. Now, after the results of Iowa, you better believe that the lamestream media is going to step up its campaign for Hillary. They're going to step up. Be prepared for it, folks. Because they cannot have Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was not, he's the old, grumpy uncle curmudgeon from Vermont. He's the independent. Let Bernie be Bernie. Bernie's fine. Bernie is not going to really catch on fire. He's not going to get very far. He's not going to do very much. Just let Bernie be Bernie. And all of a sudden, Bernie started to pick up support and catch on fire. And the Democrats were like, whoa, wait a minute now. We can't let Bernie do this. Bernie can't be so popular. That's not allowed. This is Hillary. We want Hillary. It's Hillary's turn. With Bernie Sanders, you're not going to make history. Do you folks understand that? Bernie Sanders is an old white guy. And this is what the problem with the left is that they have been beating up on the Republicans by saying that Republicans are nothing but racist old white men. And now they're caught between a rock and a hard place because guess who one of their top choices is now? An old white guy. Now, I'm not trying to be racist here, but I'm pointing out what the left has done. And it has come, and this seems to be the year of the left being bitten by their own rhetoric. College students on college campuses saying, that racism is rampant on college campuses. And who runs college campuses? Liberals. And now then there was a point in time when you had all these students on these college campuses demanding that these liberal college presidents and chancellors resign. I mean, this is not supposed to happen to the Democrats. This is supposed to only happen to Republicans. And notice how a lot of them have gone silent on the Hillary thing. Because what did they say about George W. Bush and Cheney, Dick Cheney? Oh, they lied. They need to be perp walked. They need to go to jail. They lied. Bush lied. People died. And now we have found out Hillary lied. People died. And she lied again to cover up. And these people have gone silent. Now, we've seen this before with Bill Clinton. White Republican men, they were predators, they were sexist, all they did was rape women and berate women and take advantage of women. And Bill Clinton came along and did exactly the same thing that the left accused the right of doing, and they went silent. So now they're doing the same thing. Every time the left tries to make an issue about something this is what I've come to realize, and this is the God's honest truth now. Whenever you hear or see the liberal trying to put forth a certain notion and pin it all on Republicans, the reason why they're doing it is because they're trying to cover up the inadequacies and the troubles on their own side. And now this type of stuff is being said, is being found out over and over. It started with Bill. The sex stuff, sex scandals. Before it was only Republicans that did that kind of stuff. It was only rich white men that did that stuff. Here comes along good old Billy Boy, and he had and all of a sudden, the feminazis, the feminine group, the now people, the nag gang, as Rush calls them. All of a sudden, all that time beforehand, they were loud and proud and protecting women's rights and all that kind of crap. And then Bill Clinton comes along and they shut up. You didn't hear from them. And now this whole notion about them, old white men running the Republican Party and nothing but a bunch of racists. And here comes along Bernie Sanders, of whom blacks do not support. Bernie Sanders. And now all of a sudden this whole notion that old white men run the Republican Party, that's gone. You don't hear that anymore. Because now they have to contend with Bernie. The whole notion about Republicans lie and Bush lied and people died, and all of a sudden now we've got this thing with Hillary. I don't hear any more about Republicans lying anymore from the left. You know, this whole thing that racism is rampant in America. Well, the left never thought that they were racist. They always told us that they weren't, right? And that they taught this kind of they had this safe space on college campuses, and they taught diversity on college campus. And then students on college campuses say that there's rampant racism on campus. Now we don't hear too much about college campuses being this open environment anymore, do we? Every time they come up with a major tenet in their platform, it seems to be coming back to bite the left. And it's coming back to bite them. And it's coming back big time. And people have to understand that the left is in turmoil. The left is in huge turmoil. And they can't seem to figure out. They're trying to cover it up. They're trying to be silent about certain things. They're trying to put the attention on the Republicans. But let me tell you something. They're in trouble. And they know it. And they're going to get even more nutty as time goes on, because they know they're in trouble. They're going to get more nutty. Now you have to now Barack is on his way out, sure, but look what he all the things that he is doing and that he says and promises that he's going to do his last year in office as a lame duck. Executive orders. But there is only so much that he can do. Now, sure, on his way out, last day, going to the inauguration of the new president, whoever that may be, he may sign, that executive pardon for Hillary. That's probably what will happen. But there isn't because if he does anything now to save her, I think you will lose half of the Democrats. Because there's still a bunch of Democrats out there that they're having a hard time believing that all of this is true about Hillary. They're having a hard time. What difference does it make? What difference does it make at this point? They're thinking, she's right. What difference does it make? But if he validates everything that has been said about Hillary of late, over the past year, and we're not talking even going back further than that, but if he validates everything that has been said just this past year about Hillary Rodham Clinton, it will destroy her. And there is no possible way that the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, wants to have a Bernie Sanders just walk into the DNC nomination. Now, I know liberals tend to stick together, but there are variations of liberals. And one of the problems that Hillary Clinton is having that she just can't put her finger on is that she thinks that the vast majority of Democrats are socialist, ultra-leftists like Bernie Sanders. That's really not the case. Yes, there is a large voting bloc called millennials on the Democratic Party side that tend to be of this give me everything for free mantra. Again, Democrats, look, you guys have been in charge of the educational system for 40 or 50 years. You've been teaching these kids that this is the way that things should be. You've been teaching. I've seen it. I've heard it. It's been told to me. It's been said to me. It's been argued to me. And these kids are bringing up, these millennials are bringing up all these kind of weird stats. There are 38 out of the 38 industrialized Western nations. Only one doesn't have government health care, the United States. And they point to, Sweden and other Nordic countries as being the model of this particular type of government program or system that the United States doesn't have or should have. And then they point to Iceland. Iceland did this. They put all the bankers in jail, and Iceland has this, and Iceland has this type. And none of that stuff is working, but that's what they're pointing to because that's what they're taught in school. And now they've reached voting age in a very large number, a number that rivals the baby boomer numbers, and they're demanding everything that they've been taught. And frankly, it's not what the left really wanted. Sure, they want government programs. Sure, they want to be slightly socialized. But they do not want to be radical. The older Democratic Party does not want to be radical like Bernie Sanders. They understand the ramifications that that a very good number. Look, this country is at least 50-50. The majority leans right, but if you want to consider the moderates in the middle, and they're half of them are maybe lean a little bit left and half maybe, then you've got a 50-50 split in this country. We're evenly divided, but once you start going left, you start realizing it's just like once you start going right. There are different variations to leftists. The majority of leftists are not full-on socialists, but now you've got a voting bloc that is large enough to rival that of the baby boomers and be significant, and they're demanding all the free stuff that they were told and taught in school that they should have. And the Democratic leadership never thought that this would actually come to pass, and it's biting them in the butt. And that's why, folks, they cannot have Bernie Sanders as their nominee because it will forever tag for the next generation or two the Democrats as not being Democrats, but as being socialist on the verge of communism. Now we all on the right say that this is what the left really wants. That may be, but they cannot have that out in the open. Because they fully understand that the only reason that they've gotten this far is by stealth. If Bernie Sanders wins, their stealth is gone. They cannot win in the arena of ideas. They've had to lie about it. They've had to find judges in the court systems to adjudicate it. But they've rarely ever actually gone to the people and won at the people level by voting for it. They justify it by saying, well, hey, voters keep putting we liberals in office. They keep voting for us. Yeah, because you keep lying to them. They keep buying your lie. Pretty much like Republicans. Hey, yeah, we're conservative. We're going to go in there. We're going to do this, this, and this, and people vote them in, and they don't do it. The left is no different. Democrats are no different. But the one thing that the Republicans are is Republican voters are pissed. Democratic voters, on the other hand, they're not pissed. They're scared. There's a big difference. Republicans are saying, we want to hear everything. Get out. Tell us, man. You better start telling us, and you better start doing what you promised. Democrats are like, oh my God, I can't believe they're going to blow our cover. Nobody's going to like us anymore because they understand that they're the minority. Don't ever believe all this notion that the liberal set, the ruling class liberals, think that they're representing the majority of this country. They know they're representing the vast minority. They know this. Why else do you think they constantly lie, obfuscate, and try to get all of their stuff through stealth means? Because they know they're the minority. This is all pretty self-explanatory if you just pay attention to it. The left is scared to death right now. They've got the millennials out there biting them in the butt every time they turn around about all of this stuff that they've been talking about and throwing on the Republicans for decades. The millennials are starting to say, hey, you've taught us this stuff. Why don't we have it? We want it. We've been saying for years, college should be free. The student debt is terrible. The government is evil for letting banks charge all these usury interest rates on college student loans, right? Now the government has control over just about every student loan program in the country, and yet we still have a high interest rate that, the left doesn't like. What is it, 6 or 7%? Still pretty low, but fairly high. And students are saying, wait a minute. Our debt is ridiculous. And believe it or not, you want to hear the press talk about, the mainstream media talks about the rate, interest rate, because people like Senator Warren, talk about the interest rate. But you actually talk to the students, and they're talking about, no, just give us free college tuition because the tuition, man, is sky high. You can, believe it or not, a lot of the millennials get they understand the fact that whether or not you charge 6% or 3% isn't going to make too much of a difference if you owe $200,000 to begin with. That's why they're saying, give us free tuition. Hey, you've been teaching them since they were in kindergarten that school should be paid for by the government. And now they're at that point and they're saying, where the hell is our free education, man? Now I've got debt that's $200,000, $150,000, and you promised me free education. $150,000 in debt is not free. And along comes Bernie Sanders, who promises them that, who is actually sounding like he is going to do his best to make that a reality, where the other liberals have been lying to even their own about, and trying to blame it on the Republicans. And the millennials aren't buying it. They're not buying it. This is a dramatic shift for the left, and it does not bode well for the country in general. The liberals have been in control of so much for so long, and they've tried to blame Republicans for their own failures for so long that now they have created an entire generation that is a huge population group. And Barack Obama woke them up in 2008 and got them engaged. That's how he won. And now they cannot put them back in the closet and shut them up. And this is a problem for the Democratic establishment. They have a problem just like the Republican establishment currently has a problem. Don't doubt me on this, folks. You are seeing the beginning of on both sides of the political aisle, a revolution that the standard bearers, the old guard, if you will, in both political parties, are scared to death of. And yet they put this stuff in motion themselves. They did it. They put all of this stuff in motion. Now this election is about which group is going to be big enough, bad enough, bold enough, and vote enough to get hold of this country for the next generation or two. This is a revolution, a bloodless revolution right now that we're going through. This is not something that that can be taken lightly, which is why I keep telling people, look, if you support Cruz or if you support Trump and you believe in their conservative or their Republican values and views, you've got to get behind whomever the candidate nominee ends up being. You've got to go out and vote for them, because if you don't, the liberals will go out and vote. And they will get their candidate, be it Hillary or be it Bernie. They will go out and vote, and they will get them elected, and you will lose the country that you say you're trying to save. And you will lose it for generations. Now, you may say that I'm trying to, instill a little bit of fear in people. You're right. Be afraid. Be very afraid. The next president in the next 4 years will have the opportunity to nominate as many as 4, possibly 5 Supreme Court justices. Do you understand the ramifications of that? We have 9 judges on the court. You're talking about replacing half. The majority of those that will be replaced are currently what we would call the liberal side of the Supreme Court. We have an opportunity to change the makeup of the court for a generation. You let a liberal get in there. You let Hillary or Bernie Sanders get into office and appoint 4 liberal judges. You have lost the Supreme Court in this country for generations. Do not tell me that you support this country.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom133.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom133.com. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom133.com.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. Good morning. Once again, hour number 3, fastest 3 hours in Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show, powered by Zinc Media. It is still Wednesday, Weddings Day, as I do believe that the old adage about how Wednesday got its name, the myth about it. It is February the 3rd in the year of our Lord 2016. As I broadcast to you live from my Bunker Ice home studio somewhere within the great Granite State of New Hampshire, the home of the first in the nation primary, which is coming up this Tuesday, February the 9th, in the state where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The call-in number this morning, 603-835-3224. Again, 603-835-3224. And, you know what, I don't... All right, I'm going to take this opportunity to brag a little bit about the program. Last week there was a gentleman that said that I was insignificant. Yeah, fine, it's his opinion. But it got me thinking, and now that that January is completed, it allows me to see how the month of January went. It was a huge change for me here, going to a 3-hour morning format versus what the 2-hour evening format that I had. And the interesting thing is that the numbers have started to shoot up. And the listening audience is growing by leaps and bounds. And also the website, rodeccles.net. If you're not going there daily, you're probably missing out on quite a bit of stuff. Rodeccles.net is starting to also go gangbusters because I'm looking at the numbers, the analytics for the month of January. Now, the interesting thing about the analytics is it tells you where people are connecting from when they go to the page. And I find it interesting, well, not surprising that obviously the number one place that people are connecting to the site is from the USA, United States of America. Obviously, it's a show about American politics, American pop culture, American current events, and with a little bit of, foreign stuff thrown in there when it makes sense and it really reflects of what's going on here in the States. But the number two connection, which it really shocked me, because you're looking at all the other numbers are pretty insignificant actually as far as where they're connecting from. But the top two, obviously, is the United States is one, and you would think the next significant number, all the other connections are a point whatever percent. The United States obviously was a whole percent, whole number. It's like 96% of connections came from the United States to the website. The only other country that has a whole number statistic of connections, and you people would not guess it in a million years. Most of you would probably say Canada. Another number of you would probably either say, Great Britain, UK, or maybe even Australia, possibly Israel. You would all be wrong. Those are all fractions of a percent. All of those countries I just mentioned, all fractions. The only other country that is a non-fraction number as far as where people are connecting from, now I don't know if it's because people are routing it through this country or not. I don't know how that works. I don't know how they garner that information. I don't know how it works. I don't know if they're counting. Maybe people are maybe they're calling from Bangladesh and they're routing it through the country of Russia. Believe it or not, the next whole number, non-fraction, that is hitting my website, rodeccles.net, the second largest number of people are coming from Russia. It blew my mind when I saw that figure. Now, I can probably speculate. I guess the only place that would have been more surprising is if you would have said that China was the connection. But China has a very heavy hand on their internet, and it's very difficult for people to do certain things in China. But it's quite interesting and amazing to me. Now, this program does not broadcast live on the weekends. But I've noticed, looking at the analytics, that starting mid-month, last month in January, that the on-demand listens on the weekend rival the on-demand listens during the entire week. And they're not weak, is what I'm saying. Is that people are finding it necessary to spend a few hours of their weekend listening to this program on demand or downloading it. Interesting. And what I'm finding is that the numbers have been, for the first month of a morning 3-hour live format, the first month numbers that I'm getting the numbers back from across all of the syndicators, I'm being told by the syndicators, are awesome and growing. So is this insignificant? I don't think so. I think this program is filling a void out there. And, if you're a Glenn Beck follower and you're tuning in now, I welcome you Glenn Beck people. Because I know Glenn Beck, a lot of I've seen this, I've heard it, I've seen it on social, all social media all over the place on the internet. People are getting disenfranchised, if you will, disillusioned with Glenn Beck. And they're turning him off. Now, I don't know how his numbers are being impacted nationally, but I am seeing a number of people saying they've had it with Glenn. So I welcome all you Glenn Beck listeners. Welcome to a true conservative program here. And trust, I will do my best not to go crazy. As a lot of people are saying that Glenn Beck has just lost it and he's a nut job now. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to disparage another talk show host, because that's not what I'm about. But let's face it, a lot of the things that he's been saying over the past couple of years have been a little bit nutty. He really, and he can't stand Trump. But I think what a lot of people, rightfully so, I think where a lot of people had enough of Glenn is when he said that he would vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump if Donald Trump was the nominee for the Republican Party. Now, that makes absolutely no sense. Considering what he says that his positions are, what he believes in, the type of government that he believes in, and he considers himself to be a libertarian. I don't know how you would, if you're a libertarian, you would vote for a socialist communist versus a moderate GOP inside the Beltway Republican, a centrist. If you want to say it about Donald Trump, at worst he's a centrist. Now let's face it. Everybody. A lot of people who have an issue with Donald Trump, what do they say? Well, he was a Democrat, Rod. Well, yeah, so was Ronald Reagan. And frankly, by today's standards, if John F. Kennedy were alive today, he'd also be a Republican. The whole notion of what the liberal left has done to the Democratic Party, in part, is just, it's criminal. It really is. But understand that the Democratic Party has been lost for over 150 years. Now, we're talking about the party that has supported to such a degree that they would go to war with slavery as one of their tenets. One of their planks in their platform was slavery. Rod, the Democrats weren't about... Yeah, the Democrats were about slavery. And we talk about platforms all the time, and planks in the platform. One of the planks in their platform was slavery. And I am going to say to you that one of the planks in their platform is still slavery, although they achieve it in a different way today. It still is. Don't doubt me on that. One of the tenets of the Democratic Party to this day is still slavery. And if you've ever listened to any of the Lyndon Baines Johnson presidential tapes, you'll understand exactly why I say that. Now, I notice that liberals, when they talk about government and their wonderful historical figures, they always seem to not mention LBJ, the father of socialism in this. Well, not really. Yeah, you could say he's a father. Woodrow Wilson was the great grandfather, and FDR was the grandfather, and an LBJ came up with the welfare state. He's the father of the welfare state. He got this whole welfare stuff started, but the left hardly ever talks about him. Why? Because, as I said in the last segment, the left has to do things by stealth, under the radar. They have to be able to lie to you, to hide their true intentions. It is known that LBJ was a racist. His presidential tapes prove it. Therefore, if the left is going to accuse the Republicans of being racist, they cannot talk about and go back to the president of the 60s who started welfare in this country to be unknown. They can't talk about a known racist like him. They have to be. If you want to know what the left is all about, just pay attention to whom they do not talk about. Just pay attention to whom they go silent about. Because they constantly berate the Republicans and the conservatives on the right as being this, as being racist this, as being bigoted that, as being hateful this, as being, corrupt that. And it always comes back to bite them because one of their own does exactly what they're accusing the right of. And they have to go silent because they have to remain stealthy. They have to remain hidden. When liberals become the most dangerous is when they go silent on a subject. They try to do things in the dark. Look, we got Obamacare in the dark of night during the Christmas holiday. The biggest, baddest, boldest social program ever created in the United States was passed all by one party in the dark of night, against the wishes of the American people, against the wishes of the entire Republican Party. The Democrats stealthily, in silence, in the dark, passed it and made it law. That is the only way they can get their agenda passed, folks. They have to be silent about it. And when somebody blows their cover, they can no longer talk about that particular issue or that person ever again. Now, there is one exception. They have to get Hillary Clinton elected, even though she is huge. They understand this. They're rolling the dice and taking the risk because Bernie Sanders is a bigger threat to them than Hillary Clinton is right now. So they think. But they are seriously going silent. You want to talk about submarines? The Democratic Party, all of their big stuff, most of their big stuff, the stuff that they point to as being, Democrat idea, liberal idea that was huge to them that they got passed, most of that was done in the dark of night, in stealth, or it was just flat out lied about. They even hide in plain sight sometimes. We have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. What? Really? The American people weren't buying that one from Nancy Pelosi. But again, we got it shoved down our throats. Anyway, and the press follows right along with it. They don't try to stop it. They foment it. They encourage it. They protect it. Speaking of which, Breitbart.com has a story about journalism. The top German journalist admits on live national news On the air. Live national TV in Germany. German journalist admits agenda of the German press, German media. The agenda is set by the Angela Merkel government. Now, does that not smack of old Soviet-style propaganda media? It do. It really do. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm supposed to use proper English. It really does. Can I? One of the things that I find very annoying from the left and the right is when you are in the heat of a textual argument. You know, be it on Twitter or Facebook or Google Plus or in emails, what have you. You're in the midst of or texting. You're in the midst of a textual argument. I love it when these people, the first thing they focus in is not on your idea, but whether or not you properly punctuated your sentence or if you spelled a particular word properly. They especially like to attack the words that are misspelled. Well, they're spelled properly, but it's the wrong word. You know, like pear, and pear. Because oftentimes as a person types fast, or their fingers are too fat for their phone, or their iPad, what happens is a spell check will use a different spelling of the same word. Again, pear, that type of thing. And that's what they'll focus on. They won't focus on your idea. They'll focus on your grammar. One thing that people cannot stand is grammar and spelling Nazis. Now, take it from me as a person who is, I used to say that I'm spellingly challenged. I'm a terrible speller. I admit it. I was part of the generation that they experimented with and moved away from phonics to rote memorization. I honestly remember being in the 4th grade, taking a spelling test, trying to sound out words, and the teacher admonishing me for trying to sound out a word. What she said was, you should do your homework and study and memorize these words. And she told the whole class that. Memorize these. Forget sounding them out. Forget trying to figure out phonetically how to spell a particular word. No. You're supposed to memorize it. That's what I was told in the 4th grade. The entire class. Well, later found out that doesn't really work very well. So I admit I'm a much better speller today than I was 10 or 15 years ago, because I've done so much writing over the past 10 years in spell check that it just starts to sink in, because you find yourself misspelling the same word over and over again, and if you start paying attention to the spell check, you start getting it. That's how that word is spelled. That letter goes there instead of there. That type of thing. So I'm a much better speller than I used to be. I'm still terrible, but a lot better than I used to be. I know some people are thinking that have read my stuff before it's edited, and they think, what, really? You were worse than this? Oh my God, how did you ever communicate by the written word? But yes, I am a terrible speller, I admit it. And if it weren't for spell check, it would be, I gotta tell you a quick little story about myself. I don't often relay these types of stories, but this is kind of interesting. When I was 16 years old, I thought I was going to be the next wonderful under 20 author. I thought I had a very good, fantastic story. So, when you're trying to, back then, there wasn't the on-demand press. You couldn't self-publish, that type of thing, unless you had a lot of money. So you would follow the route of sending query letters off to publishers and editors. I sent 3 query letters off, thinking, this is such a great idea. They're going to love this. I gave them a synopsis, sent them a query letter. All 3 of them sent back my query letters. There was red marks and inks all over the place. 2 of them said, and I quote, "Great story, but we cannot publish someone who does not have a grasp of the English written language." So in other words, if I had spell check back then, I probably would be a best-selling #1 author like Stephen King or something today. Because I had 2 of the 3 publishers express an interest at the storyline, the synopsis. They were fantastic. The problem is that my grammar and my spelling was so terrible. They wouldn't even they didn't even want to be bothered with it. It's kind of an embarrassing story, but it is the truth. Just to tell you how bad of a speller I am. My lack of spelling etiquette and being able to spell words probably cost me millions of dollars. But that's a lesson for all of you people out there who don't think education really has anything to do with it. It has a huge thing to do with it. Oh, maybe it was for the best, because if I was a #1 selling author, I don't think I would be doing this program, and I don't think I would be speaking to you right now. So maybe that was a good thing. The left killed themselves on that one.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars, all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. Franz black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
And we are back. 603-835-3224. You know, sometimes when you don't pay attention, that's when the worst happens. And sometimes when you think you're paying attention, it is being the fact that you are being misdirected. You know, Penn and Teller are magicians that are big on that kind of thing. Yes, you know, diverting your attention away from what they're really doing, so then by the time they reveal to you what they've done, it looks like it happened by magic. Kind of what the Democrats often do. But, you know, it is what it is, folks. But you just got to be vigilant about that kind of stuff. I mean, you have to understand that the lamestream media is trying to be the diversion of what's really going on out there. And there's a lot of strange things going on, goings on out there. You've got a United States military general out there saying that Clinton, there's no way in hell that Clinton should have been able to mishandle all of that classified information. And that basically what is happening is that she has shown, her emails have shown and proven that she's mishandled secret and classified information. Now, we've just had in the last, data dump from her emails, was it 22? 22 emails were labeled above top secret. Now, there's different levels of secrecy, if you will. There's secret, top secret, and then there's levels above even top secret. We know that there is a general ahead that runs a intelligence gathering division that doesn't have a top secret clearance. I don't know how that's possible. How are you able to run and direct an agency if you can't see the documents that come through your agency? That makes no sense. It also feeds into the notion of the wonderful conspiracy theorists that the president doesn't know everything. They keep the president in the dark. The president doesn't really know about aliens, that type of thing. But a U.S. general says that Hillary email shows pattern of mishandling secrets, which is true. You're showing a pattern of mishandling secrets. And, well, you're not going to be able to... You can't deny it. You cannot deny the fact that you got a general that has basically said, well, you know what, we've got some problems here. Hillary Clinton is out there mishandling secrets. Her emails prove that she's stripping secret and top secret classifications off of documents so she can send them. And then later say, well, they weren't labeled top secret. Well, yes and no. They were, but you stripped the label off of them. So that when you say... Misdirection, folks. Penn and Teller. When she sent the emails and was conversing in them back and forth, they were not labeled top secret. That was because when she had her staff send them to her, she had them strip the secret and top secret designations off of them. Can you see the diversionary tactic here? They weren't sent to me as classified. I followed the law. I did nothing wrong. They were not sent to me as classified, so I could see them or send them anywhere I want because they weren't classified. They weren't marked as classified when I got them. Do you see the diversion here? That is what this general is saying. That is what many of Hillary's own emails have basically told us. That in some, maybe not all, but in some cases, she had staffers, or staffers knew, to strip the classification designation off of the emails and send them to her private email or private server. Now understand this. There isn't an intelligence person on the left or the right now that does not believe that Hillary's private server was not compromised. There is not an intelligence person who is that is either left-leaning or right-leaning that does not believe that our nation's biggest enemies, Iran, China, and Russia, have not seen everything that they wanted to see on that server already. They've seen it all, read it all, knew a lot. And some people are even saying, even from left-leaning intelligentsia, are saying that those people in Benghazi who perpetrated that act upon our consulate and our ambassador knew where he was going to be when his location was supposed to be secret. They knew where he was. They knew when he was going to be there. They knew the contingency of protection that was there because they read it in an intercepted email that was taken off of her private server. Folks, all that makes sense. You're going to tell me it doesn't? Of course it does. This is why military people are saying this woman can't be trusted with secrets. She's going to end up being a president that's like that general that doesn't get sent or told all the classified stuff. I know you're probably saying, well, he's the commander. She'll be the commander in chief. How can she possibly not know? She's going to know everything. No, evidently, you don't need to know everything. We've got a general running a department of gathering intelligence, and he's not allowed to see top secret documents. He's not cleared for it. So tell me, how is he supposed to run a department if he can't see everything? Well, I guess it's the same thing for president. She's going to be able to run the military without being able to see everything. Because they're going to keep stuff from her. Do you understand that? There are going to be people in our government that are going to keep stuff from Hillary Clinton because they will not trust her with that information because they believe that she will compromise the safety and the security of this country and the American people. Rightfully so. Can you imagine having a president that it does not have access to certain classified information? Simply because the people who control that classified information do not trust her. I'm sorry. Well, it is possible. It is possible. Did you know? Let's go with the get smart. Did you know? And this is for all you wonderful lefties out there who claim that you hate rich people. Mark Zuckerberg, the Zuckster, Zuck, the big guy at Facebook, he is now ranked as the world's fourth richest person off of Facebook. Do you realize all he did was create a platform? Mark Zuckerberg did not create the content that makes Facebook popular. He's an aggregate. He gathers all this stuff from you and me. And he doesn't pay us for it. And now he's listed as the fourth wealthiest human being on the planet. Now, no, that doesn't mean that's his salary, but you got to understand, it's his all of that wonderful investment in stock and other stuff that produces monthly and quarterly and annual income that he gets to use. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Off of Facebook. Now, what do you have? Bill Gates is up there. What does Bill Gates do? Bill Gates is also in the high tech area. At least he's producing something. He's producing a product, and he's producing a product that people actually want and need. Zuckerberg isn't producing anything that people need. I mean, we need, we like to think we need computers now. That's the way the world works. We don't need Facebook. He's not producing. Is there a Facebook thing that people buy? No. Is there all kinds of software and security software and all kinds of other stuff that Microsoft actually produces? Yes. Is there any of that kind of stuff from Facebook? No. So this guy is kind of like, a lot of people accuse Warren, the sage from Omaha, Warren Buffett. He doesn't produce anything. He just buys and trades people via stock. He buys and sells people via stock. That's basically what stock traders are. All they're doing is trading paper. And they make a lot of money trading paper. And Warren Buffett has made a ton of money by trading paper. Now, granted, there have been companies where he's saved or grown, and there are more people working in those for those companies that actually produce stuff. But for the most part, he got that way by not producing a thing. He just bought and sold paper and made a profit doing that. So basically, probably, 3 of the top 5 wealthiest people on the planet don't produce anything. And the guy from Mexico, well, he's in communications down in Mexico. Mexican telephone company, that type of thing. So, yeah, he produces a service. You can say that, Facebook is a service, but it's really not. It's like going to the movies. This is what Facebook is. It's like going to the movies or watching TV. It's a new form of entertainment. You know, phones can be used for entertainment, but they're not designed for entertainment. Facebook is strictly entertainment. It's communication, Rod. No, it's entertainment. You can pick up the phone and call somebody if you want to communicate with them. Seriously. You just pick up the phone. If you want to communicate, pick up the phone. Or better yet, go see them in person. They live too far, pick up the phone. Well, texting, Facebook and texting is not faster. Picking up the phone and actually dialing the numbers and talking to somebody is the fastest way to communicate. So, no, it's not even a service. It's entertainment. Well, entertainment's a service. No, entertainment is not a service. Entertainment is entertainment. If you want to get down to brass tacks, entertainment is not a service. It produces nothing tangible. Well, it makes people happy, Rod. Not really. They're happy for as long as they're sitting in front of that screen, no matter how big or small. And sometimes, that entertainment isn't also happy. Never understand why people want to be scared at a scary movie. I never did. First, I don't think horror movies are all that scary, actually. But I don't understand why people that want to go. I want to be scared, man. I want to be scared half to death. I want my heart to jump out of my chest. I want to risk having a heart attack going to a horror movie. Well, I guess it's a thrill ride, much like I love roller coasters. People say, well, why do you get on roller coasters then? Oh, don't you know you could die on a roller coaster? Don't you know that people have died on roller coasters? Why would you? Has anybody ever died in a movie? Well, yes, people have died going to the movies. Whether or not it was due to the content on the screen, I can't say for sure. But we know that there have been people that have been killed at movie theaters. But has somebody actually died watching a horror movie? I've never heard of it. But hey, the left would say it doesn't mean it doesn't happen, and doesn't mean that it can't happen. We got to regulate it. We got to regulate, because somebody could die at a horror movie. We need to regulate horror movies to make it safer for people to go to horror movies. That would be a liberal's mantra, basically. I'm surprised that they haven't done it already. Hollywood thinks that they're safe out there. Hollywood isn't safe. Look how many times that they have pounced on, the left has pounced on. How do you think we've got this ridiculous rating system? Do you think it just happened overnight? No. They've been working and primping and formulating and fixing, quote unquote, our rating system for years, decades. Did you know it used to be only 4 ratings? G, PG, R, and X. That was it. And then somebody says, well, we're not protecting our children enough. We're not protecting them enough. We've got to have additional things. And we've got G, PG, PG-13. We've got R. And what's the R18? Is that the other one? Rated R means no one under 17 admitted without parent or guardian. But I think R18 means nobody at all under the age of 17 or 18 admitted, even if they are with a parent. And then, of course, you have X. You always had, the other, you had G, PG, R, and X. And I understand that they're trying to come out with a rating system for the X category. Because, everybody says it's triple X. Triple X is, supposed to be hardcore. Well, I guess they're really thinking about having a separate system for X-rated. I don't know why you'd need a system for X-rated film. I guess you're going to have X, double X, triple X, quadruple X, or as they say in the Brady Bunch, 4-ple X. All because these liberals are out there thinking that they're trying to protect us because they have this need to protect you and me from ourselves. Well, they really can't protect us. Look, there's another New York City subway slashing. Did you hear about that? Chicago tied its worst murder rate for a month in 15 years. Oh, but we got all these we got to make sure that law-abiding citizens have a harder time getting a law-abiding gun. Let's just make sure all the criminals and only the criminals and government agents have guns. Those are the only people that need them. Regular people don't need them. They just want to be out there trying to protect us from whom? Ourselves. But notice how they hardly come up with any idea or any laws or any regulations to protect us from them. Anybody notice that? They don't protect us from them. By the way, did you also know that there are a number of Americans who are fleeing or have fled to Canada? Are they leaving the United States because they need protection from our government? Well, I actually kind of yeah. Because you always hear you always hear about people who say they're going to leave the country, most likely move to Canada, if a particular candidate is actually elected to office, especially president. Well, if this person is elected president, I'm moving to Canada. Well, evidently, according to TheGuardian.com, a number of Americans have done just that. Well, I guess you could say it's good riddance if they really want to do that. I mean, I know people who said that I want to move. It used to be that you had gay people who wanted gay marriage. They said, well, they were moving to Canada because they can get married up there. And now you have a bunch of people that are saying, well, if Donald Trump is elected president, I'm moving to Canada. Back in September, the digital analytics firm of Luminoso found about 4% of the 4.5 million Donald Trump-related tweets contained threats to leave the country if he became president. Of those, 25,000 identified Canada as their intended destination. Since then, comedian and Obama anger translator Keegan-Michael Key has joined the chorus. Even former U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates joked about immigrating if Trump took office. He even have people like Whoopi Goldberg and others, a couple others on that laugh fest called The View, say that if Donald Trump is elected, that they're leaving. And of course, a lot of people applaud and say, "Go! Don't wait for November." But evidently, they're in 2004, a record-setting 179,000 people visited Canada's official immigration website. The majority of them were Americans. And evidently, the number of people checking out the Canadian immigration website is beginning to grow as the 2016 election process continues. I like Canada. I do. I don't want to have to move. I don't want to have to move to Canada because it's too cold. I don't want it cold all the time. I mean, it's beautiful. It's clean. You got wide open. If you talk about a new frontier, it's probably Canada is the open frontier, much like Alaska is the open frontier. I mean, there's not a lot. What is it? 35 million people up in Canada, so there's a lot of space to move around. And if you don't live in the big urban area or urban centers like Toronto, for example, you can probably get some land pretty cheap. You want to know what it's like being a settler? I'm not talking about the Comcast commercial. I'm talking about actually back in the old days, 1800s, the settlers. You probably still have a chance of doing that. And in certain parts of Canada, it won't be as cold as doing that in Alaska. Just saying. So we have a number of people who are saying that, hey, maybe they just should renounce their citizenship and be Canadians while they're at it. Yeah, they might. I don't know. They might like it up there. They might not. But they have the ability to do that if they want. They can go ahead and move north. Evidently, they are. Well, it is what it is, I suppose. And with that said, last thing, Iowa, or post-Iowa poll puts Donald Trump up by 24 points in New Hampshire. And I know a lot of people say that they can't believe in polls. The polls had Trump up ahead by 4 or 5 points in Iowa, and it turned out that, Cruz won in Iowa and not Trump. But however, when you're up by double-digit numbers, even if the poll is wrong, there has never been a poll that has been that far off. I know there have been polls that have said somebody else won but didn't, but not that big of a lead is lost. In any case, we're out of time for today. Be back here tomorrow. Rush and Hannity up next. I'm Rod Eccles. This is the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.